Dear friends, today I am going to speak on a very important topic in research, that is preparing a research proposal. Everybody wants to carry out a research for a number of purposes, several purposes, and this requires to prepare a research proposal. And therefore, I have chosen this particular topic: what research proposal is, how is to be prepared, in what stages it has to gone through, what is meant by research, etc., etc. I'm going to share my presentation. Basically, when we talk about research, preparing a research proposal is very necessary. It is of crucial importance. And therefore, my lecture will be divided basically into what is meant by research, how to prepare a research proposal, and through what stages this research should go through. Number one, research means a systematic search on a specific topic. It can be a careful investigation or inquiry, especially through search for a new fact in any branch of knowledge. Redman and Mori say systematized effort to gain new knowledge. And Woody defines defining, redefining problems, hypotheses, solutions, collecting, organizing, evaluating data, deducting conclusions, testing hypotheses, and drawing conclusions. Now, so far as research is concerned, it is divided into different types: descriptive research, analytical research, applied research, fundamental research, quantitative research, qualitative research, conceptual research, empirical research, and other types of research are also there. Why research is being carried out? Research is being carried out because progress and development of the economy is affected by the research. Logical thinking can be developed. It can be aided to government policy. Basis of economic policy can be there. Basis of decision making, solutions of economic problems, social relationships, solutions to social problems, degrees, source of livelihood, outlet, new ideas, insights, generalizations of new theories, etc., etc. Now, for us, what is important is how to prepare a research proposal. And when I am referring to research proposal, that can be for a MPhil degree, can be for a PhD degree, or it can be also for a research project. Minor dissertation for MA also it can be useful. Any research proposal should be divided into different parts or sections. Part 1 is introduction. Part 2 is review of research studies or literature. Section 3 is statement of research problem. It can also cover research questions. Then section 4, research methodology, objectives, hypothesis. Then in hypothesis also research questions can be incorporated, are being incorporated. Chapter scheme, importance, limitations, further areas of research, and what references have been used so as to carry out that research that is being necessary to be incorporated. When we introduce our topic, introduction is necessary to be given, and this can be in 10-15 lines. Here we have to analyze, we have to explain why we are carrying out research on this particular topic. What is the justification? What is the need for that? And we can incorporate the research carried out by other researchers relating to that theme or topic by citing their citations. And in introductory part, just we are introducing that topic, but we can support with some statistical data. We can support with some research studies, and it can be justifiable. We can explain why it is necessary, why it is to be carried out, why I'm endeavoring in that direction that is there. In second section of the research proposal, review of research studies or literature is required. Why? It helps us in identifying what lapses and gaps are there in the research on the topic that I want to work. And this we can take a review from the sources like research papers or articles, in-field dissertations, PhD theses, or sometimes research projects also. Now, here we have to take into account nature of review. How nature of review should be. We should consider background of the research, methods of research, methodology, aspects of topic covered, period of study, statistical techniques used, conclusions, and major suggestions. And we have to identify what are the missing aspects, what are the missing issues, what are the missing areas, those are there, which have been missed out. And that is our focus area, that is our main area, so far as concentrating on research relating to that topic is concerned. Then statement of research problem. This is very important. Every research topic should be a problem in any social science, in any natural science, and that problem to be searched, that problem to be analyzed, and that problem to be solved. And therefore, what is our research topic, how it is a research problem, what problem it is, that is to be explained, analyzed here. In this section, statement of research problem, we have to incorporate in which branch of or area of research specialization that topic comes, what that actual topic of research, what are the major problems, small problems, minor problems relating to that major problem that we have to describe there. And those problems, major and minor or main and sub problems, to be supported by some statistical data, some statistical figures that is necessary. So we have to justify why this is a topic of research I have chosen, I have to choose, I am going to choose. It's justification. Justification is to be given for solving problem, for welfare of the society, for bringing about equality, social justice like that. That justification is required. And in addition to that, some data support, statistical information is necessary to be incorporated to justify the research topic. Nowadays, some research questions are also being incorporated in the research problem to more justify the problem, research problem, because research questions are specific and those explain what are the major problems, what are the minor problems, what are the sub-problems, those are there relating to that. And therefore nowadays research questions like that of sub-problems relating to major problems, sub-problems can be incorporated, and that is a recent practice so far as statement of research problem and preparing a research proposal is concerned. Now, this part is research methodology. This is very important. In research methodology, first of all, we have to describe what type of our research is. Different types are there. Already I have tried to touch upon in the beginning, whether it is descriptive research, whether it can be analytical research, that we have to mention. And we have to describe research methodology. We have to incorporate research methodology. And research methodology means way to systematically solve a research problem. How research is to be done scientifically, what steps we are following to carry out the research, and what is the actual procedure of carrying out of research will be there, that to be incorporated under the research methodology. We have to also incorporate methods of research. Some methods of research are there. Historical method is there, library method is there, experimental method is there. Number of methods are there. In addition to that, what are the methods of data collection? What are the methods of sampling, types of sampling, sample size? What are the tools of data analysis that we are or I am going to employ to carry out the research? That is also necessary to be mentioned. What study period will be there? What sources of data I am going to exploit and utilize? If our study will be based on primary data, what sampling method that I am using, what sampling design I am using, its justification, how I'm going to prepare a questionnaire, and I'm going to administer among the sample respondents. In addition to that, to collect primary data, I am holding discussions, conducting interviews, focus discussion that can be mentioned. Then in research methodology section, we have to mention how I am going to analyze the data. But before that, how I am going to process the data, editing, then tabulating, scrutinizing, that to be mentioned. Then in data analysis, which statistical techniques I am going to employ so as to analyze the data, like measures of central tendency, mean can be there, mode can be there, median can be there, measures of dispersion, standard deviation can be there, coefficient of variation can be there, measures of association, correlation can be there, regression can be there, and hypothesis is necessary to be incorporated. How I am going to test that hypothesis by using statistical method, that is necessary to be mentioned. You can mention here, I am using maps, graphs, figures to depict trends in important variables under consideration, and how I am or we are going to make use of computer softwares like Excel, SPSS, others are also there, that is necessary to be mentioned. Then this part talks about objectives of the study. Every research proposal, every research study must have section of objectives. While formulating or preparing objectives, objectives should be specific. It should be particular to research topic. Objectives should be in one sentence, not in complex and complicated sentences. The number of objectives should be few. It can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 7. That is maximum. For infill, for MA, it can be lesser or lower than that. And these objectives should be relating to research problems and related problems. And there should be interlinking, linkage between the objectives. That is, 2 should be linked to with 1, 3 should be linked to with 2. In this way, linkage of different objectives is of crucial importance, that is necessary. Now, the next section is, we should have research hypothesis. All of us know, hypothesis is a probable answer or possible answer to the research topic or research problem that we want to study, that we want to analyze. And therefore, it is necessary to incorporate hypothesis. that makes study very unbiased, very scientific, very systematic within the framework of research methodology, and no any biasness, no any partiality uh, can be there. So far as hypothesis is concerned, hypothesis should be specific. It should be in one sentence. It should be in a single sentence. Different types of hypotheses are there. Null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis. We call it as a H0 and H1. H0, null hypothesis is always negative, but alternative hypothesis is always positive. Then what should be the number of hypotheses? The objectives that we are going to analyze with the help of statistical data or data. Relating to that, we should formulate objectives. Suppose we have 4 objectives out of 6 objectives. 4 are the objectives that we are going to analyze our research problem. So those objectives should be converted into hypotheses, and there should be a concrete link. There should be a particular link between the objectives and the hypothesis. Now, while formulating hypothesis, that hypothesis should be quantifiable. That is, we should be able in expressing that hypothesis in terms of numbers or in terms of quantity. If hypothesis is unquantifiable, it cannot be tested. We cannot make use of statistical methods for testing that hypothesis. And therefore, the hypothesis or hypotheses that we formulate should have quantifiable quality or property. Then when it is quantifiable, definitely it is testable, because later on we are going to test those hypotheses or that single hypothesis by making use of statistical method. Then we have to select statistical method, or we have to mention there which statistical method is suitable, appropriate, and why. And that I am going to using for testing hypothesis or hypothesis that we have formulated or I have formulated. Method can be t-test, method can be z-test, method can be chi-square test, number of methods are there. But we have to identify suitable method, and with the help of that suitable method, we are going to test those hypotheses that we have to mention. Then after getting results by employing a statistical method to test a hypothesis or hypotheses, interpretation of the hypothesis results is also necessary. What is the value of t and what is value of table t, that comparison? What is p-value, probability value? Whether H0, that is null hypothesis, is accepted or rejected. Whether alternative hypothesis is accepted or rejected. And what does this mean? What is its interpretation? That is necessary to be undertaken. We have to take help of research methodology books. In the research methodology books, at the end, there are certain tables, t-test table, z-test table, chi-square test or value tables, and we have to make a comparison of our calculated t-value and t-value in the table, our calculated z-value and z-value in the table, and on the basis of that, we can determine whether our hypothesis, that is null hypothesis, is tested or it is rejected. What is meaning of accepting of or accepting of the hypothesis? It is either null or alternative. And what is interpretation of rejecting of the hypothesis, null or alternative? That is also necessary to be mentioned. And based on that, we can draw inference on the basis of the interpretation that we have carried out. And this gives us importance of hypothesis. Now, this part is very important. We call it as a chapter scheme. Now, chapter scheme, this is a tentative plan of organizing our thesis or project. It is tentative chapterization of the topic of research. And this is very important. This is very important because I should say this is very important part of our research proposal. Now, number of chapters should not be excessive, should not be meager or less in number. Number should be moderate. While preparing a chapter scheme, we should take into account our objectives of study, especially the objectives that we are going to analyze by making use of data or data analysis. And chapter should be clear cut, neat, or specific, particular, that is there. Now, how should be chapterization of a research proposal? Number one is introduction research methodology. Chapter 1 is given to introduction and research methodology. We have to introduce that topic. And already I have discussed in the previous section, research methodology, various parts of research methodology, type of research, methods of research methodology, collection of data, data sources, data analysis, use of maps, graphs, figures, computer softwares, processing, analysis, quantitative techniques, maps, questionnaire, primary sampling design, everything that is necessary to be incorporated under the title research methodology. Chapter 2 should be given to review of research studies. This is not only review of studies, but review of research studies. Because here we have to identify areas or issues relating to the topic that we want to work on, especially the focus area of our research. And to identify that area, to identify those gaps, we have to carry out a review of research studies. Now, review of research studies should be research articles, research papers, PhD theses, MP dissertations, research projects. Prominently, review of research studies. What should be number for PhD research? 50 research studies should be. For MPhil, at least 30. For research project, 50. That is number one. Now, this review of research studies should have a particular sequence. That is, the first study carried out should be reviewed first, and later on studies carried out should be placed later on. That sequencing, that ordering is required. Review of research studies should be in 10 lines, maximum 15 lines. Basically, it should be in 10 lines. And in that, we have to mention what are the areas covered, what are the areas missed out, that to be mentioned. At the end of review of research studies, we have to give references of research studies that we have reviewed, that we have examined, that is there. In chapter 3, the profile of study area. The study area that you want to work on should get familiar with the readers, with the teachers, with the scholars, with the students. And therefore, some of the information relating to that area of research that we should incorporate. Geography, economic development, social development, status of education, health, population, demography, salient features, achievements, failures, status of development. Or striking features, it can be a historical place, it can be a political place. That significance, taking into consideration important data, important statistical information that we have to incorporate in a profile of study area. Chapter 4, 5, 6 and 7 should be based on the objectives that we want to analyze. with the help of data results, statistical data. And those objectives that we want to analyze by incorporating collecting data and data analysis, that should be given a separate chapter. Suppose our such objectives are more than 4 or like that, then we can club them, and such two objectives can be clubbed in one chapter. In this way also, we can prepare a chapter scheme, but the central idea is that those objectives we want to analyze by collecting and analyzing data, that should be given a status of chapter. In the last chapter, it is given to major conclusions and policy suggestions. What are our major inferences? What are our major conclusions that will be incorporated? We can incorporate in numbers 1 to 10 like that, and that to be posted, that to be listed objective-wise. The objectives that we have analyzed with the help of data analysis, that can be placed in numbers objective-wise as conclusions. Suppose we have 4 chapters, those analyze objectives with the help of data. That objective-wise we can make a list and list major conclusions or inferences or observations. Then policy suggestions. When we study a particular research problem, sub-problems, related problems, we get acquainted with some of the problems and their solutions. Those problems to be identified, and tentative suggestions, useful suggestions to be identified, and that to be incorporated under the title policy suggestions. And that should be problem-wise, sub-problem-wise. That is what we call it as a policy suggestions. After chapter scheme, there will be a section of bibliography. Bibliography means research references, reference books that we have used, research articles that we have used, journals that we have used, websites that we have used, reports that we have used, theses that we have used, dissertations that we have used. We have to make list that will be alphabetically, and also taking into consideration time period. Then we have to also incorporate questionnaire or schedule that we have used or we are going to use to collect the primary data that is there. Then in the next part of our research proposal, we have to describe, we have to mention what is importance of our research topic, what is relevance of our research topic, why we are going to carry out this research on this particular topic. And this importance of research topic can be what's contribution of our research to the theory, how our research is going to contribute a research on the topic of our research, how our research is going to meet or complete gaps and lapses those were there relating to the topic of research that we have chosen. We can also describe importance of our research by explaining how it is useful for policy making. We call it as a policy research. How it will be useful for making policy by the government policy makers. In that perspective also, we can explain relevance or importance of our research topic. Then how our research is going to contribute to the research on topic of research. How our research will be useful for researchers. How it will be useful for teachers, students. In that perspective, to the society. In that perspective also, we have to explain what is the importance of our research. Every research is imperfect, some limitations remain there, and openly we should mention what limitations of our research are there, and that limitations we have to mention there, because that becomes the further area of research for us or for others as well. In limitations of research, we can mention what period of study is missed out, in our study, research study. What aspects relating to topic of our research have been missed out, we couldn't cover, we didn't cover, that we have to mention. With reference to primary, secondary data also, there can be some limitations, shortcomings. What shortcomings are there relating to primary, secondary data? That also we have to incorporate, we can incorporate. Then we can incorporate how data was inadequate, how data sources were not sufficient. That also we can mention as a limitation of our research topic or research study. We can also describe with the help of area of study. For different areas, study can be different. There can be some differences there. Can be there peculiarities of the different areas, specificness can be there. And based on that also, we can mention this is our limitation so as our studies concerned. And in the analysis of data techniques also, there can be limitations. Suppose we have used only measures of central tendency and we have not used measures of association. We can mention we have neglected or we couldn't touch upon, we couldn't use techniques of association. That can be there. What issues have been remained, what aspects have we couldn't touch upon in our research, or it will not be possible, it didn't become possible. That should be enlisted, that should be described under the title further area of research. Some aspects missed out, some areas missed out, some period missed out, some data missed out. And that is further area of research relating to that topic only, that particular topic that we have to mention. And that is our further area of research. And that further area of research is for a research paper, research article, for dissertation, for PhD thesis, for research project, for us or for our students. For others can be there, for other researchers can be there, for other students can be there. That is to be mentioned. Thus, preparing a research proposal is very much important, and this is urgent need of the hour to prepare a research proposal very seriously, very comprehensively, very rigorously, because your quality of research, your quantity of research, your significance of research, your objectivity in research, research in methodological framework, that exclusively depends upon how you prepare a research, how it is innovative than others, how it is different than others, and how it is going to contribute in several perspectives, in several areas to the research on that particular topic. And for that reason, preparing a research proposal uh, is of crucial importance. It is of very importance, and unless and until we prepare systematically research proposal, it is not possible for preparing or going through that research, preparing the research proposal and going for the research to be carried out. And for that reason, preparing a research proposal very systematically, very scientifically is of crucial importance. And in that direction, we should endeavor effort, we should endeavor attempt that is there. These are the very important things which are necessary to be considered while preparing the research, its importance and significance.